All right. So so because I'm doing this on Camtasia, I might not move very much. So basically, what you're gonna do is because you got your height of release, right? Your point of release, and then you've also got so your point of release. That's gonna be some height here. So let's say it's like let's say it's like this, right? Here's your point of release. It's at some height. I don't know. You get some number, right? And then what this class? So you're so yeah, you're gonna draw a diagram similar to what I have here. It's not gonna doesn't have to be beautiful, doesn't have to be anything, but you're gonna answer a bunch of questions. I think you're gonna find out what its maximum height was. You're going to find out how fast it was going when it was initially released, and how fast it was going right before it hits the ground. I think those are what you're being asked, and I can double check that as well. And so what this is going to require is not only an understanding of because we've done already that if you drop an object, we know that if I drop an object when it's in free fall, the acceleration is -9 or -10 meters per second squared. And that if I just drop it, the initial velocity is 0, right? So this is going to require a little bit more finesse. And this is also going to add to the fact that I've talked about, what is your initial moment and what is your final moment when you create a problem. So yes, remember when I do that, say, okay, your initial moment is when you throw the ball. The final moment is when the ball is at the very top of it's at its maximum height, right? Or the final moment is just before it hits the ground, right? So and when you do that, that's going to make for a completely different VOVAT. So depending on where you choose your initial and final moments, that changes the VOVAT and what you what you have. It also matters as to where you measure from, right? Where you measure from. So I'll just say for this purpose, so I'm going to say that I'm going to measure from here. So I'm going to say right here, that's my origin. That's where I'm making my measurements from. All right? So this is my origin, 0. And then I'm also going to say, well, let's see, what else do we know? We know the acceleration points down throughout this thing, right? As this thing goes up and down, it's got the same acceleration, right? And then this is my origin. So I'm also going to draw, I know that there's some initial velocity here, right? I'll call this V naught, let's just say. Why not? Do I want to call that V? Let's call it V naught for now. Okay, so let's say I'm trying to answer the question of what's the maximum height. So if this is my initial moment when I release the ball, right? What would be a good final moment if I'm trying to find out the maximum height? B, yeah, I would choose position B because I know something about the velocity of the ball at that point. How fast is the ball going here? 0. So by choosing wisely, I can or being clever, I can figure out, I've got now a bunch of knowns that, by doing that. So now knowing this, if this is from A to B, what would be my initial velocity? That's I don't know what that is, right? My hello. There you go. So yeah, I'm gonna make that my final. So I don't know what this is. So okay, fair enough. But what else do I know here? What else do I know from all this? What is it? Yeah, I know that. Well, I don't know the total time. I don't know the total time because the total time was all the way up. The total time was all the way up and all the way down, right? So what else do I know from A to B? Do I know anything here? When is the velocity 0? At its maximum height. So I'll call this VB. So I'll say, yeah, that is 0. So VB is 0. What else do I know? Acceleration is negative 10 meters per second squared. Do I know the displacement? Do I know how far it went? Nope, don't know that. And I don't know the time either, right? So, all right, that's about as far as I can go. I think I'm out of luck. I don't think that's going to get me anywhere. So, all right, what about if I did? So I'm going to move now the final moment down here, and then I'm going to move the initial moment up here. All right, what do I know here? The initial velocity, which was VB, right? The initial velocity is VB, which is 0. All right? And then I would have a velocity, I'll call this VC. Right? Do I know what VC is? Nope, don't know what VC is. So I don't know what the final velocity is. That ain't going to help me. What else do I know? Acceleration is negative 10 meters per second squared. And then again, I don't know the time because I don't know how long that was in the air, and I can't split the difference either because this isn't necessarily half and half. So, all right, that ain't going to work either. So the other option that we have is taking my initial moment, putting it here, and this is my hint that I'm going to give to you, my final moment, and putting it here. Right? And now the initial velocity, I don't know, right? Because I don't know what that velocity is at A. But I don't know my final velocity. Do I know the acceleration? Negative 10. Do I know the displacement? You went from here.
It'd be negative whatever your height is.
It'd be negative your height, yeah. All right. Do I know how long it happened for?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Right? You measured the time that it was in the air. That's from this initial moment to this final moment just before it hit the ground. So you do know the time as well. And so see what I'm doing by going back and forth like this? That's what you want to be able to do to solve this. So depending on what you're trying to find, like if I'm trying to find the maximum height, from A to C is not going to be good for me, right? To find my maximum height, I need this, basically. I need to use that. Because that would give me my displacement, and then, But I would need to, but maybe I would need to, if I can get the initial velocity, or the time it takes to get there, something like that, then I could solve, whatever it is I needed to solve. So that's what makes this a bit of a puzzle. And then that's what you guys are going to work on now for the next bit. I'll give you a little bit of time. Yeah. So